जयपुर वाया कोटा
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವವರೇ
Hyderabad Superfast Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন कृपया ध्यान दियो
It doesn't feel like a Monday at all because we are still buzzing and bursting with an excitement after what Rinku Singh did yesterday. Hello and welcome to Cricbuzz Live. I'm Saiyami Kher. We need to shift focus to today's game because RCB take on Lucknow at the Chinnaswamy. I'm joined by a very happy Joy Bhattacharya. And surprise, surprise, Lisa joins us when she said she was not going to come. She was missing us too much. And Joy's smile.
Yeah, I thought, what else would I rather do than be here with you guys?
I think you're
talking?
making really good decisions. And if the IPL coaches made such good decisions, they'd all be champions. You're making really good decisions out here.
You know, but there's one thing we really need to understand because this is a slight problem. This is also to everyone watching. We want you to write in and tell us. But Lisa, how do we get Joy to focus today? Because he can't think of anything else after what happened yesterday.
The green room, he was just talking about that game, wasn't he? He was like reliving ball after ball after ball. You even were demonstrating as well.
No, nothing. I mean, we are talking about, today what we're going to talk about is what?
Who's playing?
Today we'll talk.
Okay, what are we playing? What are we talking about today, Joy? What's the game?
Yeah, it's a game. Cricket is a game. Cricket is a winner. Cricket is a winner. The boys played well, inshallah.
But Lisa, it was just so endearing to see that little clip. I went back and saw, of course, the over and over again. But I saw a clip where we were reacting because we were sitting here. And it just, cricket does that to you. It brings out that small child in you. And we saw that in Joy yesterday.
Yeah, we
He was
did.
just giggling away.
And we both, as soon as he giggled, we giggled as well, and we were pointing at him. It was actually nice to be in the room with him sharing that moment. So I'm glad it was captured. So thank you, Joy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joy, for giving us this joy. But we should quickly have a look at the points table now because we need to focus on today's game. Rajasthan on the top. Actually, the first 6 teams are all at 2 wins, 1 loss. Well, Mumbai, Delhi still down there, haven't gotten off to start they want to. Hyderabad has gotten their first game yesterday, but if Lucknow wins today, they could at the top. Joy, you think coming into today's game, RCB want to press that erase button. They don't want to remember what happened against KKR and, of course, Lord Shardul and what he did to them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the most important part for them is to say that when we had them in 93 for 5, we couldn't convert. And I think that's what they're going to talk about, conversion, finishing of games. And I think this has been a weakness traditionally with Rajasthan that when they've been on top, with the RCB, when they've been on top, they've not been able to enforce themselves. And I think that's it. It's more a mentality out there. I think still skill-wise, it's a very skilled squad. It's got all the weapons in it. It's just a matter of them saying, we need to finish what we start. Because they're getting good starts and they're not being able to convert in them. And I think that's something that will bother them. When they win games, if you see, they don't win close games. They tend to win games, either they win it in a canter and they just absolutely smash the opposition, or they sort of lose their way and,
Doesn't I know about that.
Yeah,
But Lisa, Lucknow coming in with confidence because, they won the game against SRH the other day. Comfortable win for them. So they are going to be in a confident space.
Yeah, I just think they've got a few key players that are firing. And hopefully they'll get a few more, as in their skipper, KL Rahul. But, for Krunal Pandya to play such an important role, I think more importantly with the ball, I think because he's a bowling all-rounder first, and that's how he's kind of gotten into teams. If he's bowling well, then his batting will come good. And we saw that in the last game. So you've got a few key players. They've got a few changes that they could potentially make that will strengthen it with Quinton de Kock. So it does form a bit of a headache for the coaching staff of what their 4 internationals may be.
Well, Lucknow has won the toss and they have decided to, again, no surprise there, bowl first. So we'll see what the changes are because we've had a whole lot of discussions and we know there's so many combinations that can go in. But with RCB first, I feel that Well, RCB fans don't want us to really go to this. It's a very touchy topic, but the death bowling, Joy, has been a problem, and it's been a problem again. So they have got reinforcement because they wanted to strengthen their death bowling. Parnell has come in, and also Vijay Kumar has come in. So where do you think that is going to be a more stronger bowling attack now?
Look, Parnell definitely will make a difference, and he's a brilliant bowler. At some point, Hasaranga will also come in. So look at that. Take a look at that. I mean, last 4 overs, 61 and then 57. Look, 50, around 50. If there's wickets in hand, normally you get. But the problem there both times is the wickets on the board. If the other team is 6 down and 5 down, and then you're getting hit for 57, 50, that's a serious issue because the top order is not hitting you. If Rohit Sharma is in form and he's hitting you for 50 in the last, you'll take 50 any time. In the last 10 overs, any team is expected to score 50. But if they're 5 down and 6 down and then they may manage to hit you, that's not a good sign. Looking at their bowling, definitely very interestingly, because just before the season started and when we were doing the preview auction, Harsha was talking about Vijay Kumar because he was somebody who was really highly rated by everyone in Karnataka. They regard him as a long-term prospect for Karnataka, perhaps for India. And therefore, there was a lot of talk and then he was not picked up in the auction. So I'm glad he's here. And Wayne Parnell, definitely experienced man. And as I said, I always thank Boris Johnson for him because Boris Johnson does Brexit. All the callback player contracts get cancelled. He comes back, starts playing for South Africa, goes to play all the leagues, and now he's here with us. So thank you, Boris. You did something right for cricket.
Well, thank you, Boris Johnson, as Joy says. But Virat and he go a long way because both of them in 2008 captained their teams under 19. He was a captain for South Africa. Virat was the captain for India. So Virat will be happy. It's almost like this long lost friend comes in and plays with him.
Yeah, I think so. He has been around for a long period of time. And it's funny, just the recent series against West Indies, he actually came in as a replacement player. So he seems to be going around. There's a little theme that he just sticks his hand up here if you need, guys. I know I'm not selected first, but I can still do a job. And even in that series, he picked up, I think, a handful of wickets. So he's going to play an important role for them.
I think so. And this is a very different Wayne Parnell. I remember the Wayne Parnell in 2009. In 2011, he plays for the Pune Warriors. And it was a bit of the team was going nowhere. And he was a bit of a wild young kid at that time, going to parties, going here and there. And that's a long way from the Parnell that you have now. He's a completely different personality in terms of the way he's grown spiritually and in other ways. Very focused on his cricket now. So he always had that raw talent because if you're a left arm bowler and you can, move it away, move it into the right hander and away from the left hander, you're an impressive prospect. He could whack the ball as well. So his batting has actually come on even more. And because he plays in English conditions, which are in some ways excellent because you're very perfect your art. You're playing almost 4 days a week, 5 days a week. Your art is absolutely perfected. So I think he's become a much more disciplined person because you cannot survive county cricket unless you have that kind of discipline. So Parnell coming in, Vishak coming in, they're both great news. And we've been having this debate, why not a batsman, right?
Yes.
And I have a theory about it. Lisa, what's yours?
My theory of why they didn't go with a batsman?
Actually have a question on this because we've all been asking these questions, but even all of you watching are asking us the same questions on Cricbuzz Live. Mr. Mishra asks us.
We think the same. Thank you, Ankan.
Thank you, Ankan. We're asking the same things after the last game versus KKR. Should RCB have signed a batter instead of Vijay Kumar? This is exactly what we were talking about in the green room. So I'm glad you asked this, Lisa. All yours.
Yeah, look, it's an interesting one because I feel like they've always had issues with their death bowling.
No, they didn't. Not always.
Oh. Sorry, when?
No, between the 4th of April and the 7th of April 2015, the death bowling was fine.
Okay.
Otherwise, it hasn't.
Wow, we've had to really wind back the clocks to find that one.
Or was it the 5th of April and the 8th of April?
Well, that's another joy factor segment for you there, right there.
But the concerning factor for them from a batting perspective is you've got Glenn Maxwell, who unfortunately broke his fibula, a horrendous injury, so missed so much of domestic cricket, didn't play the Big Bash League, and has only just kind of come back in. So he hasn't necessarily been able to play a lot of cricket. He even played first-class cricket for the first time after 3.5 years. So he's underdone. And so is DK as well. I feel like he's a little bit underdone. So the guys that brought them so many runs. So last year, Maxwell got 301, and then DK, he got 330. Those guys actually need to provide the runs, not just your Faf and your Virat. So if they can get a little bit more out of them, then we won't be asking questions about their batting.
But too much pressure on the middle order, Joy, because like Lisa is saying, they are really hoping that Faf and Virat, but they can't always perform, and then there's too much on Maxwell and DK. So just one more batter was probably needed.
But one more batter. See, you have Anuj Kumar, you have Mahipal Ramrod, you have Suyash Prabhudesai, all of which they've tried Anuj Rawat for one game. Yes. So the point of it is that one batsman is not going to change their lives. What they are saying, and I think it's a very logical thing to say, is that where did the match turn against Kolkata? It went from 93 from 5, they went to 200 plus.
Yeah, even against MI, when Tilak Varnam, they were doing very
well. That's where the match turned.
That's the issue. It's not the batting.
The issue is there. And the batting, the point is, if 7 batsmen don't do it for you, 8 won't. It's a different matter. If Maxwell doesn't work this season, you'll be in a situation where at some point you might say, so I think they'll try Parnell first, and then if Maxwell doesn't work, they'll try to replace him with Finn Allen or Bracewell or do something like that. But that's the point. It's not the batting, because if they have to win on a regular basis, in any case the batsmen have to fire. The problem is their bowling has always been weak. They have to find a way to make a difference there, and they have to finish off what they start. Both times they let the team off the hook.
Is it complacency?
I don't know, because see,
it's an interesting one, because you take out the top order of any of these IPL teams and they're decent players, right? And you're getting into the middle to late order that just hit whack. Shardul Thakur is a prime example. I'm not saying that, I'm not being disrespectful. No. He's a good batter, but still, like, if your bowlers were able to get the top, why aren't they able to get the middle to late?
And economy has been really
13.
Disastrous for
13 in the death.
Yes.
Like,
no, again, see, exactly my point. Siraj should never be bowling in the death. But they're in such a situation that they have to bowl Siraj at the death, and that's what they're probably thinking, that if they probably get Parnell in and have another bowler who can possibly bowl at the death. I think who else? Akashdeep again didn't work too much for them, but Akashdeep.
That's why probably Vijay Kumar, another domestic
Vijay Kumar
will
come in, and again Akashdeep is playing his first proper season out there. Plays for Bengal, first proper season out there. I mean, it's very difficult to expect, and death bowling is perhaps the most difficult job in the IPL. So for a guy to just come out, land up and say, okay, wow, let me just do these last few overs, that's not going to happen that easy.
But Joy, apparently Vijay Kumar was bowling a lot in the KKR nets at one point. So he said he's learnt a lot looking at players, international players there. He's known for his knuckleball. But too much pressure on someone so new who's not played with such at this
we don't even know whether he'll play today or not. I think again they'll go with Akashdeep. The problem is they'll go with Akashdeep and a foreign bowler, because they won't really want to. If they can, they'll try and avoid Siraj at the death. That's something they want to do as well. I mean, if we are sitting out here and discuss it, I'm sure they know it out there. It's just that they didn't have an alternative last time. I think they'll try and find an alternative fast.
Well, our experts think that they've done the right thing because they needed that extra bowler. But let's have a look at RCB's playing 11 and see who's in. Quite a few changes there. Lomror comes in, Anuj Rawat is there, and of course, Wayne Parnell comes in.
Actually, that's what nowadays I think, we should tell our producer to even put their Bangalore playing 11 batting. Because the reason that team is there is Anuj Rawat is batting out there, is Anuj Rawat will almost certainly either Anuj or Mahipal will be replaced by a bowler when they bowl. And there's probably one more bowler who's going to come in. So this is their batting unit. And if you look at their batting unit, it's quite a long unit. I mean, they bat up to 7 and 8. They have enough batting out there. If their players fire, if at least 2-3 of their players fire, in a 20 over match, you don't need 5 players to fire. You just need 2 guys to get going. In Chinnaswamy, small ground.
I reckon Karan Sharma will come in.
Yes, Karan Sharma looks like he'll be the obvious choice in, right?
He bowled well on against Mumbai, 2 for 32. Just gives him something else, the experienced campaigner.
Very experienced. And just making a comeback.
As well.
He was in a bit of a wilderness even in domestic cricket, but just making a comeback now. Bowling for the Railways.
I've got this little trivia on Karan, which I found very interesting. He's the lucky mascot on all teams. Something that I read, because in 16, 17 and 18, Karan was a part of all these teams that won the IPL, SRH, MI and CSK. So maybe he can change things around
Wow.
for RCB. What do you all think?
Yeah, I think the Bengaluru fans are loving you right now.
RCB guys, all here. Karan and me for you all.
You've sold out your MI guys, right?
Yeah.
You sold out
Very
so fast.
quick, isn't
No,
it?
no, no,
So fast.
Keeps highlighting.
3 games
0
into the
points
season and
done.
on.
Okay, let's change the topic and let's quickly have a look at Lucknow's playing 11 because we should change the topic quickly. Lucknow also, they've got Quinton de Kock who's coming in, but he's not in the playing 11. They're bowling first, so Mark Wood in, Avesh Khan in. Avesh, who's I think didn't play the last game.
No, so yeah, but this literally tells you that Quinton de Kock is not going to come in because although there are already 4 international players out here,
Yeah.
so they've decided to go with Stoinis, which means they've decided to go with Myers, Stoinis, Puran would have played, and Mark Wood. The interesting part here is that 4 bowlers out here already, 5 bowlers, 5 decent bowlers out here already. Kunal Pandya is there, Deepak Hooda is there, Stoinis can bowl, Mayers can bowl. There are 8 bowlers out there, and perhaps one of them will make way for a batsman. But this is a strong team. And again, I find it very interesting because if you look, who's the think tank of Lucknow? The think tank of Lucknow is Andy Flower and Gautam Gambhir. And Gautam always had this theory of, if you see even whatever he talks about, that nobody is bigger than the team. So he's always in this thing of horses for courses. So this is exactly what they've done. So Romario Shepherd came in, if you remember, Romario Shepherd's out, Mark Wood has come in, they're changing the team, the bowlers have moved in, and what they are trying to do is just to have matchups. Mark Wood, okay, we're going to play him on the really fast tracks. Wherever the track doesn't, at home, we're going to take pace off the ball and we're going to play the game very differently. It is fantastic if the players buy in. Because the only problem is players get unsettled. I'm in the 11. Oh, today I'm not in the 11. This is not my ground. And that can sometimes be unsettling. But it always, what it does very well is it maximizes your potential players, use the best players for the best conditions. But it needs the players to.
But Lisa, horses for courses, as Joy says. But Quinton de Kock, I'm sorry, has been phenomenal at Chinnaswamy. So I don't understand why he's not in. And he's a big player. He's a big match player and you're making him sit out.
Oh, has he got a little niggle or is he still not recovered from the international series in South Africa? Obviously missed the first 2 games and then has flown in. That's the only reason why, because you look at what he did for them, 508 runs, highest score of 140. So I find it interesting that they're not using him on this ground where he absolutely loves. I mean, strike rate of 146, highest score of 108.
It suits him to a T. Ball comes on, he loves the shot out here. He moves into pulling position very fast. And on this ground, almost all those shots go for 6. He likes this ground. And for Stoinis to play ahead of him, I'm thinking, are they looking at Stoinis' bowling? And that can't be the case.
Or maybe they're giving Stoinis a bit of a run.
Because he's not bowled at all so far.
No, he hasn't
not
bowled.
The bowler that Stoinis.
They don't need bowlers. They have 8 bowlers without Stoinis.
But
this lineup has 8 bowlers without Stoinis.
I do feel that he's an X factor for them to finish things off, and he hasn't fired yet. So, is there a longer term plan? Getting his confidence up, giving him the first run of 4 or 5 games, and if he still doesn't produce, sometimes coaches go, 5 games are yours, no matter what, hoping that it will break the shackles and they can play with some freedom, not fearful of being dropped. Maybe.
Yeah,
I'm clutching to straws.
How does Quinton take it?
Because he's a big player who's
he's
coming
a superstar.
in.
He is the South African superstar right now. Yeah, I'm intrigued by how they're going with this, but it's an embarrassment of riches, and the guy who's actually created all this trouble, if I may say, it's not trouble, it's a good problem to have, is Kyle Mayers, because they just didn't expect him to perform the way he did. And now the way he's playing, because he's actually hitting smartly also. He's not just hitting wildly, he's in the top 5 in the IPL scoring. I mean, it's a very small set, it's 3 matches, but in those 3 matches, he's impressed on the IPL, as it were, he's put his stamp on the IPL.
Surprise, Quinton de Kock doesn't play at the Chinnaswamy, but there's someone who loves playing at the Chinnaswamy. Bangalore boy coming back home, KL Rahul's playing at the Chinnaswamy. Lisa, is he going to pull off what Ajinkya Rahane pulled off the other day?
Oh, he'll be hoping for
Yes.
that. Quickest 50 of IPL this year. He'd like that even more so. But, the fact that he's only come home, so to speak, 3 times in an opposition side, hasn't won any games at Chinnaswamy. He'll want to turn things around. He's used to the conditions. He loves those type of conditions. These conditions are made for the top order. We're looking at scores of 200 plus, both setting and chasing. So it is all for the top order to kind of feast on if they choose to and choose to make the right decisions. And he's certainly got the skills. Hasn't fired like he normally does in IPL. We expect him to get 500 runs every year type thing. He hasn't yet even got to a half century. So can he get there today?
But not a good run of form after the last season, Joy, and he actually loves playing against RCB, so he's going to be happy to be here. 610 runs against RCB. He's going to be happy playing at the Chinnaswamy against RCB. Of course, at 132, he scored 2 years ago, I think, against RCB. So he'll be happy. Everything going his
I think
way.
he'll be happy. I think also in some ways, because it's a very talented Lucknow side, I think the monkey's off his back. There are lots of big players now. So if you think about it, we've been discussing Lucknow for the past 3-4 minutes. And it's now that we've come to him. We've been talking about Quinny and Kyle Mayers and other people. So I think what he really needs is to stay away from the limelight for a while. And if he looks up at the IPL scoring charts, all his other friends are there. There's typical, David Warners of the world, Shikhar Dhawans of the world. They're already there. So, I mean, you can almost expect that he's going to make it there in a little while. And look, it is the way the IPL plays. It is skewed in terms of players who bat 1, 2, 3. You're going to see those kind of players dominate at the top. KL will have enough chances. I'm sure he's going to make his way there.
Yeah, we can just wait and watch because Lucknow is bowling first. Because they're bowling first, it means there is Faf and Virat Kohli who come out. Faf has been brilliant because he's been brilliant in the power play. He's been hitting really hard. His strike rate has really improved. That's something that he's changed in his game.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's changed. Some tournaments you have a good tournament, some tournaments you struggle a little bit more. And obviously he's going through a transition where he's not playing international cricket and he's starting to do these franchise. So I think it's an adjustment for players on how to prepare, how to physically prepare, how to skillfully prepare. What do you need to do in the build-up for that? I don't think he probably got things right last year. His strike rate was only that, I think, 105. And now he's like, right, if Bangalore are to go well, I need to actually lead from the front as well. And I keep harping on that because that's what a skipper does. You can lead by actions, and that's what most people like to go to, or you can lead by kind of empowering others. He's certainly got that. Now he just needs to lead by actions.
Actually, I've just got a theory of why Marcus Stoinis is playing.
Tell me.
Because according to the latest IPL rules, which you probably haven't received as yet, they were dispatched in early April, if there is a tie, there's no longer a super over. It's going to be an arm wrestling contest between the two.
That makes sense.
Who can take on Duplessis other than Marcus Stoinis? So those are the two most buffed gentlemen.
Yeah, we were looking very seriously. I thought we were getting some really serious information.
Yeah, I was like...
Breaking news.
Actually, just on
It's about as breaking news as most of the news channels do anyway.
Just on those two, there's a nice little kind of story that comes out. They call each other Rig. So when they... Rig.
Okay,
like
rig. Okay,
a rig,
rig.
you know,
Okay.
you've got a great rig. So they literally go up and they go, hey, Rig. And he goes, you all right, Rig? Yeah. It's like that conversation. It's that just showmanship of, yeah, I've got muscles. I'm a good-looking rooster.
Yeah, well, we were talking about Faf's body fat percentage in the green room. Joy sir will give us a little more on that.
I will not. I'll just say that once I remember asking Andre Russell about him, and all the West Indians are also, and the horrible thing about West Indians is they don't ever seem to go to the gym, but they all look like that.
Unfair.
But then he looked at me one day and said, I didn't all of these muscles of Amazon, man. So then you don't know what to say.
But just a little more on Faf because he spoke about this, at some interview that I read where he said he's trying to work on his power hitting more. With age, that's something he wants to focus on right now.
I think they're all doing that because what's happened is that finally he can afford to sort of focus on one format. So now it's just the T20 format, and that's one of the reasons, because what happens, and anyone into serious training will tell you, you cannot train your body to do 5 things. So one of the problems that a lot of cricketers are having is 5-day cricket requires a completely different body strength, especially, for bowlers it's even more. You need to have the endurance, you need to be able to bowl 20-25 overs a day, you need to be able to last. So you're not going to see really beefed up guys in 5-day cricket because they won't last. It's physically very demanding. So what happens is Faf is actually now said, okay, now I'm done. I'm going to play these leagues, I enjoy these, and I'm going to make money to secure my financial future and my family's financial future. And therefore, he's built in a particular way. He started accelerating. He's saying he's trying to open a lot else as well. So lots of places where he was playing at 3 and 4 before in the other leagues, he's playing at 1 and 2 now. And that is it's a very deliberate change in terms of what he's trying to do, both with his body and with his cricket, because he also knows he's 38 years old. He has a couple of years left. He really wants to make the best of it. And I like to see that the professionalism that Faf brings to the party is something which is really worth looking at.
Well, we also have a chat on Krunal Pandya because he had a really good game. The last game he got 3 wickets, was the man of the match. So Krunal Pandya, I think, will be looking forward to bowling to these top class batsmen.
No spinner looks forward to bowling with the spinners.
No, he
I
really
promise you.
he wants to take up the challenge. He spoke about how I've changed
He's
up
lying.
my run
He's
up,
lying.
and he's spoken about how he has good matchups. I mean, we were discussing how he has good matchups.
Being
but
serious, no. Seriously. He's a brave man because any spinner who wants to.
Chinnaswamy, good luck to you.
Chinnaswamy, where a top edge goes for 6,
Yeah.
But no, really, serious. He's a competitor, and I think one big thing is that he's a bowling all-rounder. And really, they're batting him at 4. Look at those, the numbers that you see. And I think there he's starting to get wickets. He's starting to bite into it. And I think that's the important thing for him. If his bowling is going, his confidence also increases. His coach is using him more. And it's an interesting thing because Lucknow, given the plethora of bowling resources they have, the fact that he's even getting 4 overs on a regular basis is interesting. He'll definitely get it in Lucknow. But in the Chinnaswamy and other grounds, if he's bowling as regularly as he is now, it shows that they have real faith in him because, they have bowling options.
I think also he had a stint at Warwickshire as well. So going away and playing in different conditions, different balls, different coaching staff, you start to pick up different things. You start to see other players in that tournament or in your team that are going about the same skill. And you just start to go, all right, I like that. I'm going to add that to my game. And you're talking about a couple of technical changes. He's even shortened his stride as well. So by shortening his stride, he'll be able to get through the crease a little bit quicker, and maybe the variations in speed will be a lot more manageable and still can bowl with some control. So just those little slight changes and going away to a different environment is sometimes all that players need, because you get stuck in the same ground, same net, same session, same group of people. It's Groundhog Day, right? When you go to a different place, you go, okay, this is refreshing. I'm kind of open to new ideas.
Well, talking about something refreshing and new this time has been the impact player. I don't know how much we have liked it or not liked it, but let's have a look at the impact player list for Bangalore. And I mean, Bangalore's batting first, and
so Karan Sharma or Akashdeep, definitely one of those. So bowler will come in.
Ayush Budhoni or Krishna Pagautam?
Yep. They use Ayush Budhoni. They like Ayush Budhoni, so definitely he's probably their first choice. He's a finisher.
And he's already done it, I think.
Yeah, he's
3 times.
yeah, he's been there all 3 games.
Yeah, but he's been the impact player. Either he's come in or he's tapped out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, now is that time where we have to answer the very difficult questions that come our way. The joy factor question of the day, all yours.
Okay, which record in international cricket is held by Akila Dhananjaya and Stuart Broad, followed closely by Shivam Dube and Nasum? Think about it. I think there's a hint. The first 2 names have a hint there.
Did you get the hint at all, Lisa? Because, well, I have no idea. Hint?
No more hint. They'll know this. They'll know this. This kind of stuff, they do it in their sleep. As I said, they're much better than me. They'll
It's like
I can check the answer would have come in by now probably.
Can I actually ask a question? Do you do cryptic crosswords?
Yeah.
See, I hate
the answer.
See,
That's the answer.
I hate those. I look at it going, I don't even know how to begin that.
I'm with Lisa here, but well, Joy thinks it's an easy peasy question and people are going to answer this. We'll find out in the post-match show. One thing which we haven't done very seriously, which I need to, pull up my socks, and we need to get a little more serious about this, guys, because like Cricbuzz Hindi,
Okay, you go.
us to it. And I'm going to go first.
Oh, she's going first.
Yes, I'm going to go first. Chinnaswamy, I'm going to go with 201.
Because that's what Gotham always goes, isn't it? 201.
Yeah.
She's learning, huh?
He's gone there.
I'm going to go. Hang on, who's batting first?
Bangalore bats first.
Okay. I'm going to go 210.
Okay, 188.
He low ball in it.
Low balling by Bangalore stand.
188, 210 and 201. Well, let's see if it's my lucky day today because I have not won this even once. Let it be my lucky day at least today, guys. But you know, that's all we have for time for now. We'll see you at the 10 over point at the Cricbuzz Combox. See you all soon.
Jaipur via Kota,
कृपया ध्यान आपको अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೈ
Hyderabad Superfast Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন कृपया ध्यान दें